Welcome to the Indiana State Board Animal House VET-CVI orientation video. This video will cover small animal certificate creation.
To get started creating your small animal health certificate, you'll first want to make sure you have the appropriate state selected. I have Indiana selected as my default, but if you have a accreditation in a different state, you'll click this drop down. They will be listed there, and you'll want to select the appropriate state before starting your health certificate. So I've got Indiana. You can either click Create CVI Small here, or in the top left here, you can click Create CVI Small from there as well. On the first page here, the first thing you'll notice is you have your health certificate number right off the bat. If your destination state requires an entry permit number for any reason, you can go ahead and get that before starting your health certificate since you already have your certificate number. You can type that there once you have it. The next will be your inspection date. As you can see, there is a red asterisk. Anything with a red asterisk next to it is required information, so it must be included. To get your inspection date, you'll select anywhere within the month, day, year, and then select the appropriate date. As a note, a health certificate must be issued within 10 days of the inspection. So if I inspected this animal a couple days ago, I can select that, but it cannot be more than 10 days from your current date or when you finalize your health certificate. Once you have the appropriate date, you'll click the check mark. Next will be your shipment date. That is not required, but if you do know it and want to include it, you can. If you need to clear out either of these dates, you can click the X here to the right-hand side, and it'll remove the date. Below here is your veterinarian information and your license information. All of that is pre-populated and pulled from your account information. If anything needs to be changed, please see our VET-CVI navigation video that shows you how to change that. Everything looks appropriate. You can click Next in the bottom right corner. You can also, if you click in the top right, there's these three dots. This brings up a pop-up menu which can easily take you to any of the other pages quickly, so you don't have to click Next to get all the way there. I'm going to get Next. And this will be your origin and consignor information. So the origin information will be specifically for the animal, so we'll need the first and last name of the owner and the full physical address of where the animal was located. This must be a 911 registered address. It cannot be a PO box. You only need to include a first and last name or business name. You do not need to include both. And then you'll need to include your full physical address. Indiana will automatically be selected. It cannot change because we are doing an Indiana origin health certificate. Zip code is required. County is not required. However, if you know it, please do include it. Phone number is required. However, if you have a client that does not have a phone number or does not wish to have it included, this just needs to be formatted to look like a phone number. So I can just click zeros to format it like a phone number. Email address. So if you include an email here, when this health certificate is finished and submitted, this email address will receive a PDF copy. However, you can only include one email address in this box, but if you have a client that wants it sent to multiple email addresses, you can include the second email address down here in the consignor information. So for consignor, this will be if your client's or the owner's information differs from the animal. So if they either live at a different address or if they have a business PO box address, this is where you can include that information. Or if everything is the same as the animal, you can click same as above and it'll fill that in. Everything looks correct. You can click next in the bottom right corner. Now we have your destination and consignee information. So destination will be the full physical address of where the animal is going. Same as previously, you'll need to include first and last name or the business name and a full physical address. As a note for the destination, Indiana is automatically selected, so you'll want to select your destination state from this drop-down. County is not required, but please include it if you know it. Phone number is again still required, but it just needs to be formatted to be a phone number. Email address. So if your destination owner would like a copy of the health certificate, you can include their email address here. As a note for small animals, you don't need to include anything in this premise ID box since that is not required for small animals. Then you've got consignee information. So this will be if the destination's owner differs from the origin or differs from the destination of where the animals are going. And then email address, you can include a different one here if you would like, or it can be the same one as the destination. If everything again looks appropriate, you can click next in the bottom right corner. Here's where you'll enter your transportation information. The only thing required on this page will be your purpose of movement. The most common for small animals is going to be either, exhibition if you've got animals going for show, personal travel or transit, so if an owner is just going on vacation and taking their animal with them. You've also got companion animal for that, so if your client is going on vacation and is taking their animal. Or there's sale. Transport method is not required, but you can use it. I'm going to select truck. And then carrier information. If your client is using a third-party service to move their animals for them, you can include that third-party service information here. It is not required though. I'm going to click next in the bottom right corner. And now we've got disease certification statements. Certain states might require that a statement is included on the health certificate, or if your client is flying, the airline might want a statement about temperature. You can either free type that information here and click next in the bottom right, or if you have those statements saved in your disease certification statement library, you can click the green check mark, select the appropriate statements that you would like, and then you'll click close. We'll then add those statements here. If you have anything additional you would like to add, you can free type that here. Once you have all of your statements, you'll click next. And now here's where you'll be adding your animal information. As a note, you can only have one species per health certificate. So if you have a client that is traveling with their dog and a cat, each animal will need their own health certificate. To get started adding your animals, you want to click in the white box of the appropriate species and then type the information from there. I'm going to start with single. So this is adding one animal at a time. Your species will be auto-populated, and then you'll type in breed. You'll select the sex from the drop-down. You can include the exact date of birth by selecting the appropriate date. Or you can also put in the number unit here. And in the age in drop-down, select the appropriate unit. If you typed in the wrong date of birth or you'd like to remove it, you can click the X over here. And then farther down, you can see since we're only adding single animal, your head count is grayed out to 1. You want to include an animal description. This can just be like their color. And then you'll need to include some sort of ID for that animal. For small animals, the most common ones you're probably going to use are IMP for implant or microchip number, their name, or you've got other, and you can free type that there. I'm just going to do name. You'll type that in. If they have additional IDs you would like to include, you'll select the green plus. And then let's say this animal also has a microchip number. You can type that in there. Once everything is how you would like it, you'll click save. You can now see under here I've got one entry, so that's the single animal that I just added. You can also add multiple animals at one time if they have the same kind of age, sex, and breed. So I'll select dog and then express single, breed, lab, and they're all spayed females. Okay, they're 2 years old. You can now see head count you can type in, so I will put 2 here. Animal description, I'll put yellow since they're yellow labs. And then you'll have your ID. So you can apply same to all, or you can click manual. I'll also do name, and then type in the value box. For the second animal, you will click enter. If they have any other IDs, you can click the green plus. Say they also have their microchip numbers. And click manual again. So you want to, for Lucy, this is her microchip number. For Jenny, I'll click enter and type that one in as well. When you're free typing in here, you want to make sure that the tag numbers or the microchip numbers line up with the appropriate other tag name or their name. You'll then click save. You can now see I've got 3 entries where you can see Lucy and Jenny now with their tags. One other way you can add them as well, you can do a group. So let's say you're sending puppies and they're all the exact same age because they're from the same litter. A group of little male puppies that are 8 weeks old, 6 of them. And then for their value, they're all from litter 12. You can then click save. Now see I have 4 entries, but this entry here at the bottom has an animal count of 6. And so you're adding all of those puppies at one time instead of trying to add them individually, because they all have the same, identifying information of age, sex, and breed. From this page, you can add any tests and vaccinations. You can edit any animal specifically if you need to. So let's say the microchip number was incorrect for the German Shepherd. So I'll click the edit button and type in the appropriate number, then click save. If you've added any animals but they're no longer needing to be included, you can use the red trash can to delete them. To add any tests and vaccinations, if you've got animals that have the exact same test and vaccine on the same day, you can select those and click add test. Let's say these animals had a fecal, but it was done in-house. So if it was done in-house or not sent off to a lab, that'll be an in-field test. And you'll want to toggle that here. You'll want to include your test date. Test code is required, but there's no universal standard of what needs to be typed here. So we typically just retype the test name. Result, say negative. and you can type in any comments. If anything was seen, let's say it was positive and, roundworms were detected. You can then click Save. And now you can see next to those animals, you can edit test. Let's say this animal also had a rabies titer. That would be something that was sent off to a lab. So you'll type in your test name. You'll type in your result. Your accession number is going to be required, but if you click here, there's no accession. So what you'll need to do is click the green plus here to the right. It'll take you to this page where you need to include the date that the test was done, your accession number, which will be on the results that you received from your lab, and your lab name. You've got boxes here for your premise ID or the address for your lab. That is not required, but if you would like to include it, you can. Everything looks correct. You'll then click Save in the bottom right. You can now see your accession number is here. You can type any comments if you have them, or you can just click Save in the bottom right. That's how you do a test that's in-house or sent off to the lab. If you've got animals that were given a vaccine, you'll want to select the appropriate animals and click Add Vaccine. This will look a little different and it's completely free type. So let's say your animals had their rabies vaccine. As a note with your rabies vaccine, you do need to include either the rabies serial number or the tag number. Then you'll need to include the date that it was given. If the animals have had multiple vaccines, you can click the green plus button here and add the second vaccine and the date it was given. Once you've got all of your vaccines, you can click Save. You can now see Edit Vaccine is right here next to these animals. Let's say if this one, didn't have the distemper, you can remove it and then click Save, or add any others that Lucy might have had that Brad didn't. Everything looks correct. You'll then click Done in the bottom right. And if you've got all of your animals added, you can click Next. Then you've got your review page. So this goes over each section of the CVI creation process. You can see here the business name is red, but you only need first and last name or the business name. So since I included the first and last, you don't need to worry about it being red. Same here, I included a business name, so you don't need to worry about the first and last name. Got your transportation, your health page, and your species. If any of these need to be edited, to the right of here, you can see an edit next to each section. You can click there. It'll automatically take you back to that page where you can make any changes that you need. You can then click Next to get back to your review page, or you can go here, select Review, and it'll take you directly there. Everything looks correct. You can then click Next in the bottom right. Here is your certification page. If you want, before you certify, you can click Preview. By clicking Preview, it'll bring up a PDF copy of what your health certificate will look like. It'll say Draft in the background, so if you see Draft, it's not your finalized copy. But from here, you can still review each section and what it will look like once it's actually finished. If everything looks correct, you can then go back here. You'll click the check mark, and then you'll click Submit. You should pretty quickly get a banner that says CVI submitted successfully. You'll click OK, and it'll take you back to your home page. Once it's been submitted, you should also pretty quickly get an email with a copy of the health certificate to any email address that was included, as well as whichever email address is used for your account. If you're unsure if it was sent or received, check that email, or you can also check the CVI status. And that is how you create a small animal health certificate with the VET-CVI.
Thank you for viewing this video. If you need additional assistance, check out the BOAH website.